It's a really good half of basketball for the Lakers.
You gotta like what you see, you know, and it looks like they're slowly getting some of their consistency back on the defensive end. I thought Drummond, although he didn't score a lot, his effort was there. AD, of course, doing the right thing, Rob.
Only 15 points out of the stars on the Suns, meaning the two guards, and good defense. I like that. Good
no doubt. Jack in the Box halftime report starts right after this. Lakers up 12. For the first half highlights, Anthony Davis and the Lakers hosting the Suns. Lakers coming off that tough loss in Portland on Friday. Andre Drummond lobs it up to AD for the Jam James, and it's 7-0 Lakers.
You can already see these two understand the high-low play. When one big is up top, the other one down low. Nice pass by Drummond.
AD off to an aggressive start. Lakers up 14. Lakers moving the ball, setting up THT, and he's going to drain the three. 25-11 Lakers. Chris Paul's going to drive. Buzzer beater. Lakers up 11 going into the second quarter. So here we go, Rob. AD still at it.
Yeah, AD working the post, nice spin move, a high sweeping jump hook, working in the paint.
THT, driving lay, up 13. AD, pull-up jumper, showing his versatility. Good ball movement here. Gasol whips that thing around. Wes Matthews wisely to the corner to KCP. He buries the three. And the Lakers go into halftime leading the Phoenix Suns 59-47. Alex Caruso gets the start. He has 9 points. KCP 2 of 5 with from 3 with 3 steals. More to come on the Jack in the Box halftime report. 12 in the first, 10.
Lakers calendar tonight taking on the Suns. Tuesday, they're home against the New York Knicks. Wednesday, their final home game of the regular season. Again, Lakers will lift the championship banner that night, taking on the Rockets. And then they're on the road for their final 2 of the regular season against the Pacers and the Pelicans. All right, so as it currently stands, big game. The Lakers will face the Warriors for the first play-in game. And you can't tell me that the NBA fans don't want to see this. I'm not talking Laker fans. But this is one of the reasons why everyone loves the concept of the play-in game.
Yeah, except for LeBron and a couple other players. But I mean, Steph Curry has been lighting it up lately. And so that alone makes the Warriors an extremely dangerous team. You got Draymond Green. These guys know how to play. They got some young players that they're bringing along. No Klay Thompson, but still, they've proven that if you give Steph Curry the game when it's close with 5 minutes or 6 minutes left in the game, it turns out to be his game in a lot of cases. So dangerous team, and I'm sure that the league is going to love this. It's like a little bonus game before the playoffs start, a playoff feel to it. So yeah, it'll be big, and the Lakers will have to respond.
That's the thing, Rob. You're not just getting the Warriors for a 7-game series. It's a 1-game situation.
NCAA, NBA style.
Love it in the NBA.
And think about it. It's just going to really see what teams are made of. If you're really a pretender or a contender. You know, when you get down that 6, 7, 8 spots, there's always a jockeying for position. This is going to let everybody know if this team's supposed to be here or if the other team was like a team like the Lakers that was filled with injuries and kind of slid down to that spot, or you was a team who started out bad like the Warriors and now you got hot as the season went on. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out and see how the actual players feel about it when it's all said and done.
And Brez, Steph Curry, numbers off the charts, has his team playing great basketball. He's a wild card.
Yeah, averaging 34 over his last 10. That's pretty good right there. His last game, he made 11 threes all by himself. Most NBA teams don't even average that. I mean, that's crazy numbers right there.
For how many times this season, too? Yeah,
I mean, just night after night. He's draining threes, and teams double team him. Maybe some teams should try to triple team him because he still gets loose, gets his 30-plus points a game. It's been a fun team to watch, and I can see why NBA fans, outside of Laker fans, would be very intrigued by seeing this 1-game winner-take-all matchup potentially starting in about a week and a half. Steph Curry not quite an MVP candidate. You can't really get those type of votes if you're 9th in your conference, but still an amazing season for him without his backcourt mate, Klay Thompson.
I know we were talking about the rest for this week if they were a top 6 seed. We know that the Lakers knew that when they were healthy and at full strength, this is not where they should be. But here we are. So how do you find the positive, Big Game, in these opportunities when they become game-like situations as you're gearing up for the postseason?
Yeah, your positive is you know we can play. We've struggled with a ton of injuries, a ton of different lineups. We've struggled with no practice time, and so you get things back together. That's your positive. You got AD back. Drummond still has to find his way. You kind of hope for that, and then you get Schroeder and you get all your teammates back, and then you kick it back to where you used to play. You got your bench, who was one of the best benches in the league, and then you got your elite players and the best defensive team in the league. So you have to. That's the way you have to be thinking, whether you're in a playing game or whatever the scenario is.
For me, I look at the situation from the coach's side. They have a hard task because you're trying to figure out how to insert a guy like Drummond. You're trying to figure out how to navigate this without your point guard and with only one point guard. Then you're trying to figure out your best player that's ever played the game, LeBron James, is not in the game. It's hard on a coach. You don't know what game plan to come up with, how to do things, and then you say, okay, Marc Gasol, Trez, you will be starting on other teams, but I don't know if I want to have you come off the bench tonight, take a day off. It's hard on Coach Vogel and that staff, and that's one of the things that, for me, you need the practice time. For the coach can figure out what his game plan is and how he want to play his schedule and the teams he's going to go up against.
Yeah, so the regular season's going to end a week from today in New Orleans. Play-in game for the Lakers, assuming they're there, would be either the next Tuesday or Wednesday, 2 or 3 days later. Bad news for the Lakers, they're not going to get that week off. It really seems readily apparent that's going to be the situation. The new goal should be get out of the play-in tournament as quickly as possible, still salvage 3 or 4 days, get a little bit of rest, a little bit of practice, and then go from there.
Well said. We'll continue to keep a close eye on the play-in standings for the postseason. Lakers are currently a game and a half behind the Blazers for the 6th spot in the West, with just 5 games remaining. Blazers with some tough competition down the stretch with games versus the Jazz, Sun, and Nuggets in their final 3. Not long ago, Laker reporter Mike Trudell caught up with Ben McLemore. All right. The Laker fans shouldn't worry about the play-in game. We'll start with the 2 guys that aren't in action right now, LBJ and Dennis Schroeder.
AKA, don't panic, okay? It's all right, everyone. I sense a lot of angst, a lot of nervousness from the Laker fans. But, yeah, when you're missing 41 points, 11 rebounds, and 14 assists per game between LeBron and Schroeder, yeah, it's going to be hard to win consistently night after night. A couple little updates. The latest report has LeBron coming back either Tuesday against the Knicks or Wednesday against Houston. I'm going to bet Wednesday. A little bit of a softer landing for him. Houston, the worst team in the NBA. And, of course, it is indeed banner night that night. And Schroeder, as Frank Vogel said, he might get 1 or 2 of the last 2 games of the season in. Here's a big graphic right here, and it tells you all you need to know. Lakers 28-15 with LeBron. 9-15 without him. Turnovers going a little high, field goals going a little low, and some issues there on both offense and defense. Obviously, they missed both those guys. Presumably, they're back for the potential play-in game.
I'd argue that's a great first point, but if the Laker fans need more, your second point to not panic is Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis. It was good to see him kind of become his former self again in that last game against Portland. The numbers were outstanding. 36 points, 12 rebounds, and sure, 5 assists. Let's not forget those either, Allie. Tonight against Phoenix, it might be a good thing for him to kind of show what he can do. A little reminder to the Suns because, as Mike Trudell said, this could be a potential first-round matchup, a possible 2-7 seed. A lot to be determined between now and then. And AD, one other thing about him, I thought he was really good defensively as well. I think Robin James talked about it a little bit as well. Good to see him kind of starting to dominate, not just on offense, but on defense as well. Hey, if it took him 2 full weeks to get back after almost 2.5 months off, I'll take it.
I will too. All right, big picture when it comes to the play-in tourney. What's your final point?
Don't worry. I mean, come on. They might play Golden State in the first round. They're having a very good season when you consider what happened before the season. No Klay Thompson. But a little secret, Allie, they only have 1 guy who can score. His name's Steph Curry. As of now, if you throw out James Wiseman's scoring, he's done for the season. Talented young center. Their fourth leading scorer is Jordan Poole, and their fifth leading scorer is Eric Paschall. Producer Drew really not liking my breakdown right now of the Warriors, but I don't really fret that the Lakers are going to lose to them. And if they happen to lose to them, then they'll play either San Antonio or Memphis. Not exactly the 90s Bulls or the Showtime Lakers, those two teams right there. So don't panic. It's not great that they don't get a full week off, presumably, if they do indeed end up in the play-in tournament. It's not the end of the world either.
I'm even more calm than before when we started this.
I'm trying to help.